You want to read books in English, but English isn't your first language and you don't know where to start? If yes, you clicked on the right video. Hello everyone, my name is Jane and today I'm going to recommend easy English books to read if English isn't your first language. I really get the appeal of wanting to read books in English. You have so much more variety. And for me personally, English isn't my first language and right now I read a lot of books in English, but it took me time to start and it was pretty intimidating because I just didn't know what to read. So today I wanted to recommend some books in English that I think are great to read if you want to start reading in English. And I do have a lot of genres today, so I think that I will just recommend by genre. So yes, I think that let's just get started with the first genre. And this is YA romance, which I think it's a great genre to start reading in English, especially contemporary romance. Now for this I have a few recommendations. The first one is 10 Blind Dates. This is such a cute YA love story. It basically takes place in winter vacation. The main character of the story goes to her big family, but her boyfriend breaks up with her before the vacation, and because her family doesn't want her to be sad, they set her up with 10 blind dates, 10 different guys, and it's just such a cute story. It's told through first person with really easy language, so it's a really good place to start. And the second YA romance that I really recommend is Made in Korea by Sarah Sook, which is currently my favorite YA high school romance that I read in 2021, and basically it's told through double POV. We are following two teenagers, and those two teenagers sell K-beauty products in their school, and they are rivals. They basically compete against each other, so this is enemies to lovers. This is just such a cute romance story. It was so fun to read, and the language here is really easy. It's also first person, just really easy to understand, great place to start. And also I highly recommend all of John Green books, especially if you are more on the younger age. I just think that John Green writing is really good if you want to start reading in English. It's really easy to understand. Everything is told through first person. My personal favorites are Fault in Our Stars, which I think is really a masterpiece. Looking for Alaska, Portals All the Way Down. He has a lot of really great books. I really enjoyed these books while I was in middle school and high school. So if you're in those ages, I highly recommend it. A really good place to start with just really easy language. Now the second genre is actually an adult romance or new adult romance. I'm talking about those steamy books, and for this I highly recommend all of Colin Hoover books because Colin Hoover language is really easy to understand. Colin Hoover is personally one of my favorite authors. I really love her books. Her books has always some kind of twist and they're a little bit different, and I just really love her writing and plot. My personal favorites are Ugly Love, November 9, Without Merit, Verity, which Verity is a romance thriller. It's a little bit different from her other books, but it's really great. And there is also It Ends With Us, which is Colin Hoover's most popular book. It's a really good book. It has a lot of trigger warnings, so be sure to check them out. But honestly, any Colin Hoover book will do, because again, she actually has really easy writing to understand. And yes, again, I love her books. I think they are so fun to read. And the second author that I want to recommend for the adult romance is Christina Lauren, another really popular author, but I really love their stories. And the writing is really easy to understand. It's usually told through double POV from the girl and the guy, but the writing is just easy and really fun. And my personal favorite is The Unhoneymooners. This is such a fun summer read. It's enemies to lovers and it's also fake dating. And the two main characters of the story, their siblings, got married, but they can't go to their own honeymoon. So those two main characters goes to this honeymoon instead of them. So they basically fake that they are married. And yes, just such a fun summer read. This is those kind of books that I never heard bad review about. Honestly, I just didn't hear any negatives about this book. Just really fun, really quick to get through, and again, with really easy English. Now, another amazing place to start if you're looking to start reading in English is graphic novels. I highly recommend graphic novels. They are really easy, especially because graphic novels are basically illustrations with a little bit of text. And I know that for people who English isn't their first language, starting reading in English can be really hard and especially tiring. Like reading a whole book not in your native language is pretty hard and you need to concentrate so much more. And I feel that graphic novels are just really easy to read, really quick, and you don't need to commit to a whole book not in your native language. And yes, graphic novels are just the best. And for this, of course, I'm going to recommend Heartstopper by Alice Osman. This is a graphic novel series and we are basically following Nick and Charlie. Now this is a YA romance. There isn't a lot of text. The illustrations are really cute and they are just really easy and quick to get through. Currently there is 4 books out, but there is going to be more. It's just really a fun love story and it keeps getting recommended over and over again, also on BookTube, also on BookTok. This is a series that people just love so much. And again, graphic novels are just amazing to start in English, but if you don't want to start a series, which I totally understand, I have here The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Guan, which is a graphic novel standalone, and this is such a cute story. I think it's a middle grade, but I'm not sure. But basically it's about a prince who loves to wear dresses, and it's about the relationship between him and his dressmaker, and it's just such a cute story. It's really heartwarming and really sad, but it just teaches you a lot. Highly recommend it. Such a great graphic novel. Now the next genre that I want to recommend is actually fantasy. And usually fantasy it's a little bit more hard to read because there is a lot of word building and it can get pretty confusing, but I have the perfect fantasy series to read if you want to start reading in English, and this is the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. The first book is The Cruel Prince, and this is basically about fae. This is a high fantasy story, and the reason that I'm recommending it is because the language here is really easy. Also the word building is pretty easy to understand. The writing itself is through first person, and basically we are following Jude, and Jude is a human that lives in the world of fairies and nobody likes her as she is human. This is also enemies to lovers. The romance starts to evolve more in the second book. Those are just really popular books, and if you thought about reading them and you are just looking for books to read in English, those are really good place to start. Yes, they are just really entertaining, really fun. I read all of them in 48 hours, like it was really quick to read them because they were so easy. And the next series is actually Shatter Me by Tara Murphy. This is a series that I started to read in middle school. I read the first book and I really loved it. I didn't read all of the series, but I really think it's a good place to start, especially again if you're in the younger ages of middle school and high school. The writing here is also for first person, and the writing here is pretty unique, but especially really easy to understand. Like this is another really good place to start. This is a really long series, just be aware of it. There is a lot of books, but yes, I just keep seeing so many recommendations about the series. BookTok really love the series, and yes, I think it will be really fun time. And now the next book that I'm recommending is actually a thriller, and this is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is such a good book. It's a part of a series. I only read the first book so far, but this is a really good place to start, and it isn't the most easy English book on this list because it is told through fourth person and not first person, but I think this is really a good place to start because although it's through a fourth person, I still think that the writing is really easy to understand. I read it in less than a day. It was just really quick. It also told through mixed media as the main character of the story investigate a murder that happened 5 years ago where she lives. So half of the book is through her school project because she is investigating this murder for the school project. So it's basically mixed media, which is really cool and again more easy to read. And just yes, this is such a fun book. I keep hearing so many good reviews about it. Looks like people love it so much. Yes, just really good YA murder mystery. And the last genre is historical fiction. And you may ask yourself, what? Historical fiction are usually pretty hard to read. At least for me, most of the historical fiction that I read were mostly in more hard language. But for this, I'm going to recommend The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is an amazing book. This is actually the perfect historical fiction to recommend because the English here is really easy to understand. Like I feel that the writing here was just really easy, really fun. This story basically is about Evelyn Hugo, which was a really big star, and in this current time of the story, she's already old, and one reporter goes to her house, basically hear her life story and write about it. So we are following the life story of Evelyn Hugo, and this is a pretty sad life story, and it talks a lot about what she needed to sacrifice for her to be this really big star. And yes, this is just such a great book. It's amazing. One of my most favorite books that I read this year. Just really fun. And yes, if you love historical fiction and you don't want to read other genre, this is a really good book to read because although it's historical fiction, the English here is really easy. me. And yes, it just was an amazing book. So yes, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Those are books that I really think that they are so easy to read and just great books to start with if you're looking to start reading in English. I really get the struggle because again, for me also English isn't my first language and it took me time to start reading more advanced English books. So I really hope that you find this video helpful. Yes, if you are really intimidated, maybe just try to read a book that you already read in the past in English because it will be more easy to understand because you already read the book. But yes, any book from this list will be really amazing, really easy, and I hope that you will enjoy them. Until my next video, you can check more videos by me, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and bye everyone!